Hi there, welcome back to Tim Talks. It's great to see you again. Check this out. Today we are talking mushrooms, spinach, quiche Lorraine, keto style. You are going to love this recipe. Let's get started. In previous videos I've shown you a couple of other low-carb crust recipes for pies. Today I'm using another one. This one's from wholesomeyum.com. And I kind of ran into them just by doing a search on Google. Anyway, their recipe starts off with 2.5 cups of finely ground almond flour here. And we're going to add to that about 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to put just a little bit more than that in there. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to give it a whoosh just to make sure that gets distributed throughout. Next, of course, is going to come our fat. In this case, it's 4 tablespoons of ghee, which is a really great fat. This is going to give it a really lovely toasty flavor, that really lovely buttery flavor. And I'm going to whoosh it in there, give it a couple of pulses. And as you can see, it's starting to gather together in pieces there. That's perfect. We're going to leave it just like that. And then we're going to add in our egg. This is 1 beaten large egg. And hope that it will form just like it's doing here, forming a nice solid ball there. It's just what we want. We're going to stop it, and now it's ready to press into our prepared pie plate. Here I've got a generously buttered 9-inch pie plate, as you can see, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my pie dough, put it in there, and I'm going to spread it around. While you're doing this, you want to make sure that it doesn't build up too much in the corners of the pie dish, and so you want to just even that out. You can see I'm just pushing it around with my fingers. We want to see if we can get it in as even a layer as possible everywhere. And it's not going to be perfect. Mine, as always, is going to look a little rustic. It's going to be really delicious though. And there we pretty much have it. Now we're ready to blind bake this in the oven after I give it a couple of pokes here with a fork so the bottom doesn't puff up while it bakes. One thing you can do to assure this is going to be a little flakier than it might otherwise be before you put it in the oven is, and since I've got to wait for my oven to preheat anyway, I'm going to stick this in the freezer for 10 or 15 minutes before it goes in the oven. Next step is to prepare the filling for our quiche. Here you can see I've got some bacon crisping up in a frying pan right there. It's bubbling away. Got some paper towels there ready to drain it when it's done, which will be really soon. You'll want to start with about 6 to 8 ounces of fresh mushrooms that you've sliced thinly, as I've done here. And then you're going to melt 2 tablespoons of ghee or other fat that you prefer into a skillet over medium-high heat. Mushrooms contain a lot of water, so we want our fat to be really hot when we put them in there. Let's give it a try. Yeah, look at that. Bubbling away. We've got that sizzle. It's exactly what we want. I'm going to put all of my mushrooms in there. It's going to crowd the pan a little bit. Don't worry about that. Okay, this right here is about 3 minutes in. You can see they're really giving up their liquid. A lot of liquid going down there. We're going to evaporate all of that. And we're going to keep cooking these mushrooms over, again, medium-high heat. We're going to move them around a little bit. At this stage, I'm going to season them with a little salt and a little pepper. And keeping in mind that they're going to be going into a filling that has bacon and cheese in it. So, yeah, we don't know what to do with the salt there. Give it a nice stir. And we're going to continue cooking for just a little while longer. Now, as you can see, all of their water has evaporated, and we're ready to take them off the fire now. We've concentrated all those flavors in there by evaporating the water, and these are going to be just delicious in our quiche. I've just taken the pie crust out of the freezer and put it into a 350-degree oven that I preheated. It's going to stay there for about 15 minutes. Let's make our filling in the meantime. Here I've got the mushrooms that we sauteed, and look at those, they're just lovely. I've got 8 ounces of Swiss cheese that I've cut into a dice here. This was sliced for sandwiches originally. It doesn't really matter what form it's in. You could use shredded, or you could use a small dice. I've got 6 ounces of thawed frozen spinach. I'm going to squeeze the water out of that in just a second. Here I've got 5 large eggs that we're going to beat and pour into our cream. This is 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. And I've also got 8 thick slices of bacon that I've already broken into large chunks. Of course, we'll need a little salt and pepper. There's really not much to it from here on out. We're just going to add the ingredients together. First, the cream. I'm using heavy whipping cream instead of milk or half and half. Of course, you could use either of those if you wanted a low-fat version. Heavy whipping cream has almost no carbohydrates. That's why we use it in these keto dishes. I'm going to add in the cheese. And the mushrooms. We could layer these in the pie crust as well. Not necessary. Here I'm also, before we get started with that, I'm going to beat our eggs a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to be a perfectly smooth mixture here. Well, that should be good enough. In they go. Set my whisk down over here. Obviously the bacon. Mix that all together. And now we've got one more step. Here we've got our 6 ounces of frozen spinach. It's thawed. I've got it in a green napkin. Green so it won't stain the napkin, or if it does, nobody will care. It's a pretty old napkin anyway. It's clean. We're just going to squeeze the water out of that before we add it to our filling. You can see it's quite a bit of water. We really don't want that in our quiche. That's going to keep it from being unctuous and lovely and having the texture that we want. And my superfly, who seems to want some spinach. Soupy, I don't think so, honey. He wants everything we want. It's a participation thing. And in goes the spinach. I'm just going to crumble it in. And from here I'm just going to mix the ingredients well, get everything incorporated. And ready for our pie shell. Of course, we're also going to add in some freshly ground black pepper. And just a little bit of salt. We don't want much salt. Bacon's salty, the cheese is salty. There we go. I'm going to mix that in. Now it's ready for our pie crust. After 15 minutes, here's our crust. Look, it's ready. It's nice and just barely golden brown. It's not, can't push it in the middle. It's nice and solid there. And this is ready for our filling. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. I think all of it will fit in there. We'll see. If it doesn't, we'll save some for another. Yeah, I think we can do it. It is going to puff up just a little bit. Yeah, it will fit in there. Can you have too much quiche filling? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe not. In this case, it all goes in there very nicely. That's going to be gorgeous when it comes out. We've got one more little tiny piece of cheese there. Okay, we're going to even this out just a little bit. You see how well distributed the ingredients are when you do it this way. They're going to be distributed throughout our pie. That's going to be just outstanding. Now this is going to go back into the 350-degree oven for probably a good, I'm going to say 45 to 50 minutes. Just like with the other pie that we did, the pumpkin pie, I'm going to use the pie shield. Put that right on there so that our crust doesn't brown too much like it did on the tomato and cheese pie, which was delicious nonetheless, but this will end up being very pretty. Anyway, here we go into the oven for, I'm going to say 45-50 minutes. We'll be back when we're ready to take it out. It's been 45 minutes now, and I've just brought this out of the oven. And actually, I took a few moments and broiled some color onto the top. As you can see there, it's just gorgeous. Let's see how we did with our crust. We want a nice golden brown. Look at that. Now that is a true thing of beauty there. This is our beautiful quiche. Now this needs to rest and cool for, I'm going to say, a good 15-20 minutes before we slice into it. Alright, it's been about 15 minutes and I think it's about time to cut into this bad boy. This looks really, really great. First piece is always so hard to get out, but I'm going to do my best here. One serving is about 1/8 of this pie. I think I got that about right there. Make sure I cut through the whole crust. See if I can serve it without breaking it up too much. That crust really turned out to be a beautiful golden brown. Here we go. I left a little bit of it down there, that's all right. But check it out, here's what we got. Not too shabby, I don't think, and I think we're ready for a taste. Well, all right, let's try this thing. Wow, that really smells great. It looks great. Look at that beautiful golden brown crust. Wow. The custard is creamy and just luxurious. The bacon is really great. Of course, the combination of flavors, the bacon, the Swiss cheese, and then of course you've got that lovely mushroom and spinach in there. Really, really delicious. That with a little side salad, that'll be lunch today. Anyway, listen, thanks for joining us today at Tim Talks. How about you subscribe, like, share, and all that good stuff. Anyway, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.